Yo, now that the 47th president has been chosen, which is Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has been dealing with all of these legal issues, question is, what's going to happen with these legal issues? You know, is this going to be the very first president in the nation to go to jail while serving? Let's move the big Oval Office into a jail cell, right? Yeah, that'll work. What do you think? Well, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to share what three different opinions are. One from CBS, one from ABC, and also PBS. Let me know what your thoughts are on these.
Commerce College. He wrote in 2020, will he go? Trump and the looming election meltdown in 2020. He's in Sunderland, Massachusetts. Professor, I am so pleased to have you back with us. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, Heather.
Not only did he not go, he's now back. So let us talk about all of this. The Trump era underway, 2.0. And I want to talk to you about these things from a legal perspective. Here we are in what seems to me an unprecedented legal situation. How do you see where things stand this morning?
Well, I mean, it is unusual that we have elected a convicted felon to be 47th president of the United States. And we also know from a legal standpoint that he has pledged basically to kind of use the Department of Justice as basically a tool of punishing his enemies and rewarding his friends. Well, he certainly won't be serving any time. I mean, he's a first-time felon, and so it wasn't likely that he was going to receive a prison sentence to begin with. But assuming that he did receive a prison sentence, certainly the court would suspend the sentence while he is in serving as president. So he's now, the head of the Justice Department as the chief executive, and he can just fire Jack Smith and make sure that none of those cases go to trial. The two outstanding federal cases don't go to trial.
That it all goes away. Interesting.
Yep, you got the far left opinion that this felon which is the first felon to take office, will be able to dismiss all this by firing the prosecutor. All right, not too tough of a situation there for the Trumpster. Now, let's see what we hear here.
Good morning to you, George. Reclaiming the presidency, maybe Donald Trump's get-out-of-jail-free card. Trump has said he would fire special counsel Jack Smith within 2 seconds, erasing the two federal prosecutions he's brought, one over subverting the 2020 election, the other for retaining classified documents. Now, Smith could try to turn over the January 6th case to career prosecutors, maybe issue a report about his findings, but Trump, in all likelihood, would face no legal consequences. The classified documents case has already been dismissed. Now the special counsel's appeal to reinstate it would likely be withdrawn. Trump's criminal case in Georgia produced this iconic image of the campaign, his mugshot. Any trial now would have to wait until 2029. And Trump is scheduled to be sentenced here in New York later this month for falsifying business records. Even if that goes forward, it's hard to see how he faces any meaningful sentence now. And George, an appeals court in New York is considering whether Trump must pay a civil fraud judgment. So it's possible George Trump will begin his presidency owing nearly $500 million.
Yep. Let's see if Trump goes and fights for the people while getting himself into debt. Deep debt, obviously. $500 million in terms of what he would be, what he's going to owe, supposedly. This is ridiculous. Now, this is PBS, which in my opinion actually gives actually reports versus gives their opinion as to what's going to happen.
Donald Trump's election last night is going to fundamentally change and in some cases get rid of the legal cases against him. Let's quickly run through those four cases. The first two are cases being overseen by the U.S. Department of Justice, specifically Special Counsel Jack Smith. That's the January 6th election interference case here in Washington and the classified documents case down in Florida. A new Trump Department of Justice with a new Attorney General would fire Jack Smith, which Donald Trump has said he wants to do on day one, and those cases would simply stop being prosecuted and would go away. The third case against Trump is the Georgia election interference case. And while Trump doesn't have the authority as president to dismiss a state case, there is a long-standing federal prohibition on state prosecutors, in this case, Fani Willis down in Georgia, from indicting or charging a sitting president. So there would be a very, very big bar for that case to pass to go forward. Fourth is the 34 felony convictions that Trump has already been convicted of in the Stormy Daniels falsified business records case in New York City. Now, Trump is supposed to be sentenced in that case in 3 weeks' time, and Judge Juan Merchan, who's overseeing that, has said in the past he's not against jailing Donald Trump for these crimes, but now the person he would be sentencing is the would-be and soon-to-be sitting president. And so there would be an incredible amount of pressure for nonviolent crimes, for a crime that Donald Trump has never had a previous conviction, to not put the soon-to-be president in prison. Unclear what would happen in that case, but it is without a doubt that last night's election is going to fundamentally change the legal jeopardy that Donald Trump was facing.
Absolutely it has. And the thing about it, though, is that that judge, him and his daughter, are just two conniving folks that they just profited from this whole trial. No matter what, the daughter, she made it very clear as to her stance. The judge followed suit, and he should have just stepped off of this case, stepped away from this case, just due to the fact that he was just far too close, and it was a conflict of interest with regards to his daughter too. So, folks, I'd love your opinion as to what you think. Should the man go to jail, or should he be indebted to Georgia for $500 million because of this case? It's a fraudulent case too. One that should have been nothing more than a misdemeanor, first off. Second is that statute of limitations. That was a crime, supposed crime that took place 9 years ago, and they bring it up 7 years later. So it was already beyond statute of limitations. What has happened to the rule of law in this nation? It truly has become a means of really persecuting and going after your opponents. And these are all the things that the Democrats claim that Trump would do. Go after your opponent and put him in jail. That's exactly what they were doing for this guy, or after this guy. So then that's the only way they could deal with him. Get him off the campaign. And then they put cackling Kamala in there. What a joke. She was never elected for that. So, thank you guys. As always, please like, subscribe, share, and choose.